Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and good afternoon to everybody. Today, thank you for joining us. We are here in one of UM's Teach Online webinar. So today we are going to present a lecturer from Faculty of Science, Dr. Abdullah Al-Hadi Ahmad Fuad, who is going to talk about and teach us one of the modules in our spectrum or our Moodle feature, which is H5P or interactive content. So without further ado, I'm going to give this session to Dr. Abdullah to start his workshop. So over to you, Dr. Abdullah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zahir. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. So today I'm gonna share a little bit of the H5P module. So over here, I actually prepared both a PowerPoint slide, and I'm gonna show you how to actually do it live using SPeCTRUM. Okay. So first and foremost, just quickly on what and why you want to use this module. So what is H5P? It's basically a HTML5 rich content creator. What it means is that you can actually prepare an interactive module. So compared to previously, some of you might have known about HTML, which is the computer language that is being used for our browser, internet browser. And now they have a fifth version, which is called as HTML5. And you can actually do a lot of things with these codes. For this module, we are not going to type any codes or whatever. We're just going to use the feature that HTML5 actually has. Okay. The advantage is it's a modern browser compatibility. So as long as you are using a modern, like I would say within 5 years computer, you should be able to use this feature without any hiccups. Okay. And then why H5P? Because first of all, it revolutionized the way we do teaching and learning. Okay. Before this, we just, if you do online, you probably do just a lecture like this without having any interaction. But using H5P, you can actually record your lecture and add in some modules where the students or the listeners can actually interact while. So that's one thing. And second thing is, if in the future you're gonna teach the same subject using the same slide, or probably slightly adding here and there for your slides, you can actually add in this, you can embed H5P module into your pre-recorded lectures. Okay, so that's what I call as in situ study in SPeCTRUM. But for this purpose, what I'm gonna show is just based on this interactive video, because H5P, the content itself, has so many variables, so many things that you can do. But I'm just going to show you about how you can actually use interactive video using H5P in SPeCTRUM. Okay, so basically there's two ways to do it. The first one is to create your own H5P document using from the H5P website. So you can just simply browse h5p.org. So you can look at the website and you can actually create your own content there, download it, and then upload into SPeCTRUM. Okay, so the advantage is you can create your own document for free, but the disadvantage is you can't actually embed the grade or score within SPeCTRUM. Okay, so if you just do it like this without embedding it into the SPeCTRUM, you can't get your grades and scores of your students or your participants. But on the second, for the second way, where you actually embed it or you do it in situ in SPeCTRUM, you can actually have your scores or grades within SPeCTRUM. So say towards the end of the semester, you can quickly just browse to look at the marks and then copy it and do your analysis and whatnot. Okay, so seamless integration with Gradebook. So you don't need to manually or transfer your marks, and it's better version than a stock module platform. Say, for example, for module or SPeCTRUM platform that we have without H5P content, you can do like a short quiz, but using H5P, it can be more interactive. You can have a video and then ask questions from the video and whatnot. Okay, so the disadvantage is you need to work a little bit to get started, but once you are accustomed to it, it will be very quick. All right, so I actually prepared a few steps, like stepwise on how to actually do it. But instead of showing it into the slide, what I'll show you is a live session on how you can actually do it. Okay, just bear with me a second. I'm gonna share this one. Okay. All right, so the first step is to log in into your SPeCTRUM. Okay, so that's my ID. And then scroll to, in this case, this is my subject. Okay, so choose your own subject in the SPeCTRUM. But of course, you need to be a lecturer. You need to have a lecturer admin privilege before you can actually do it. If you are a student, then you can't do it. Okay, once you are in your course profile, click on the gear button on the top right hand side and turn on editing. All right, and then scroll to one of your topics here. So you can see that I do have this lecture 1 protein in H5P, but I'm not gonna show that one. That one is just a trial. So once you log into SPeCTRUM, turn the edit. All you need to do is find your own module set and then add activity or resources. If you scroll down here, you can actually see there's actually a small logo of H5P labeled as interactive content. Okay, click on that and then add. Okay, now, so this is what you will see. You have here H5P, select content type, where you do interactive video, accordion, arithmetic quiz, chart, college, and so on and so forth. But for today's online lecture, I'm just going to show you how to quickly prepare an interactive video from a pre-made video. So that's the pre-requirement. Okay, you need to have a video that you want. Okay, click on that, it will say loading. All right, so there's a tour guide where you can actually click next, 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 and it would teach you one by one on. So it's actually very, very but for this case, I'll just go and do exit because I'm gonna show you how to actually do it. All right, so before we go down there on the editor, you need to make sure that you have a name for your module. You can't actually save it. So I'm just gonna put this edX H5P SPeCTRUM. Okay, description, trial for online teaching and learning. Okay, as simple as that. So that's the very basic minimum. Now, first thing is you need to upload or embed your video. So just quickly click on the plus button over there, and then if you already have your own video, you can upload your video, which today I'm not going to do this because it's going to take a while. Or secondly, you can paste a YouTube video link. Right, to do that, you can simply go to any, right? And for example, if we were to say talk about COVID, so I purposely choose a short video. Okay, so this video should last like few minutes. Okay, so it's only 2 minutes and 50 seconds, because if you actually use a very long video, what's going to happen is that once you create your H5P interactive content, you can't actually view it there and then straight away. Because I tried last night with a video that spanned about 20 minutes. The interactive content was not prepared instantaneously. So, but in this morning when I wake up, it's actually prepared straight away. So, okay. So once you do have your video, just the whole address, go back to your SPeCTRUM and simply just paste it on the space provided and click on insert. Okay, so over here you can edit your copyright if you want, but if it's not your video, then please don't edit any copyright. Okay, so what you do next is just click on this next step where you can add your interaction. Okay, so two things that you should notice here is the availability of this toolbar, okay, at the top, and this toolbar at the bottom. So this one is just to add a bookmark, meaning that if, say, you want to add a bookmark at 1 minute mark, so you can simply click on that bookmark, and then you can put a label, say for example this one, quiz 1. Okay, so you can type it and then enter, then you will have a bookmark label quiz 1 there. Then probably you want to do a second quiz. Again, you do click on this bookmark label, add bookmark, and then type your label and press enter. So now you can actually see there's 2 bookmarks. Okay, now so what you can do next is you can add these modules. So you have one label, text, you can add tables, you can add a picture, and then link it to another YouTube website or a different website. You can add images, you can add statements, and for lecturers, probably you are more interested in these two, which is a single choice set or multiple choice. So these are the feature where you can actually add questions and then answers, whereby once the student looked at the lectures, say after 10 minutes, you just want to see whether they are actually listened to the video or not. You can put this in and then ask the students to actually answer it. So the main advantage is, one, the student will definitely listen throughout your video or your video lecture. And then the second thing is, you can actually use this as part of your continuous assessment. So you can actually grade the marks, and then you will go into your SPeCTRUM gradebook, and then you can use that as part of your continuous assessment. So a 2-in-1, instead of having one lecture and then one tutorial, you can actually combine your tutorial and lecture at the same time. Okay, and then you can also have a true or false questions. You can have fill in the blanks, type, drag and drop, mark the words, drag text, crossroads, and navigation hotspots. But for today, I'm just gonna show you the most basic things that you might want to use, which is the first one. You might want to use a text. So what you do is, once you click on that, a pop-up of the text will appear. You can choose your display time. So in this case, because the first bookmark that we added was at 4 minutes, at 45 seconds. So, you might want to do a text initially when the student just started listening to your video. And then the good advantage, one of the other advantage is, you can actually put a pause video, whereby when the text appears, then the video will automatically pause. So you can have an interaction with the students, and not, the students needs to listen while answering your question. So you can make the student focus on one thing at a time. Okay, now there's these 2 options, display as button or poster. Button means that it's a collapsible interaction, where when you click on it, then it will appear. When you click on it again, it will disappear. Or a poster meaning that it will be like this module, where it just pop-ups on top of your video and it will stop your video. Okay, so for this purpose, I'm just gonna use a poster. I'm gonna quickly do a text here, so we can just add in text for text module. Okay, so you can put a bold, italicize, you can do a strike through, or you can do uh, underline if you want. And you can do a little bit of HTML modules where you can also put a hyperlink and whatnot. Okay, so and if you look at visual, you can have a background color, you can change it, or you can do a click on link. Say for example, if your student click on that link, you will go to click on the text, you will go to a link or a time code. So this, you might want to use this, for example, if you have a quiz and then the student got it wrong, you can actually put a text telling the student, please click on this if you got your answer wrong, so that once the student click on it, you will go back to your specific lectures when you actually talk about the content of your quiz. Okay, but for this case, I'm not gonna choose anything, and I will just simply press done. And it doesn't show. Okay, oh, okay, because all right, so it doesn't show up because I changed it to 0 second. So now you can actually see the test module here. So you can resize it, okay, the way you want. You can put it anywhere throughout the slide, and if say you want to delete it, then simply click on the remove button and it will ask you whether you want to remove it. So say for example, you want to remove it now but you don't see anything, just simply click on your module again, you will see this. Okay, you can edit it if you want, you can bring it front, bring it to the back, especially if you have multiple layers, or you can simply just click on remove, then it will remove it. Okay, so that is for label and text. More or less it's the same thing. Table is also similar to text and label. It's just that for table, then you kind of like putting in a table where you can have a table of such and such. Say for example, we have column 1, column 2, row 1, row 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, but if you don't want to do it, again, if you click done, what will happen is it will show you the table like this. Okay, so in case if you accidentally click a module, what you need to do is click on the remove button so that it doesn't appear on your video. Okay, so so that's pretty much the basic for this module. But I'm gonna quickly show you how to add in single choice set questions. Okay, so you can put it there, and then put a pause. We want to make it poster because we want the question to straight away appear. And you can put your question 1, for example, what is COVID-19? And then you need to remember that these are the answers, okay? And the first alternative answer is always the correct one. So you can say it's coronavirus. Okay, so that will be the correct answer. For this purpose, I'm just going to put a correct. And then this one, we're going to say it's influenza. Okay, just as a example, and this is the wrong answer. Okay, you can add in more than 2, but for this purpose, I'm just going to show you 2. Okay, you can add in more questions if you want. So what will happen is the system will show you one question at a time. So need to answer question number 1 before he or she can answer question number 2. So question number 2, we can say which country is this video taken from? Okay, so the first answer, which is the correct one, You can say it's Malaysia. Alternative, you can say it's Singapore. Okay. All right. So you can add more questions if you want. So you can add like up to 5 or probably 10. I haven't actually tried how many questions I can add, but you can actually add more than 2 questions. Okay, and then you can actually define a custom feedback for the score itself if you want. If you don't want to, then you don't have to do anything. You just use the default settings, and then auto continue. It depends. I would say don't choose auto continue. So because sometimes students, if they got it wrong, they want to try and digest what went wrong. Okay, so if you untick auto continue, the students needs to press play again before the video continues. So I think this is a very good feature to do it. And then there's this pass percentage where if you don't really want to use the questions as part of your continuous assessment, then it doesn't matter what you put it here. You can just put it 0, where regardless of whether the student got it right or got it wrong, then the marks will be recorded, but he or she can still continue with the video. If you put it there, say 50, then student needs to get at least 1 of 2 before they can actually continue. All right, and the last one is adaptivity. So this one, action on all correct. So say for example, if you want to put in 5 similar questions at 5 different time points, but they are all similar questions. So what you can do is probably, if say a student managed to answer all 5 questions correctly, you might want to give some leeway to the student where he or she can just skip the video altogether because he or she has already answered all the questions correctly. So it's up to you. So there's a lot of customization that you can actually do. But for this case, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, so we have a few questions pertaining to this single choice set and also
Okay.
the video itself. So there's 2 questions I think relevant to this, and this is from username Usha. So the first one is, do you really need to have a bookmark to pause the video and then add quiz function at the same time, or do you just add the question at any time without bookmark? So that is question number 1. Question number 2. Because one of the points at the question just now, it says that first alternative is always the correct one. So does that mean that the answer must be the first answer, or is the first answer the right answer? So how does that work?
Okay. So for the first question about bookmark, the answer is no. You do not need to have any bookmark to actually put your questions. Okay. So this bookmark, I would say it's best. It's more useful for you as the person who actually prepares the video, because you want to sit back and see where do you have this question or that question. You can actually use your bookmark to actually quickly scroll through at what point you actually put this information or put this quiz. Okay, so this one is still okay because the video that I chose is only 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Say for example, for a full length lecture, where if you want to upload a 50 minutes lecture, so without bookmark, it might be a bit difficult for you to scroll through and find the interactive or interaction that you added to your video. So this bookmark is just mostly for you, and without having a bookmark, you can actually still put question. Okay, so I think that one should answer the first question. The second question was about the alternative, right?
So the alternative. So the first answer
Yep.
is the alternative. Yes.
Yes. So the first answer is always the correct one, at least for a single choice. Okay. So for a single choice set, the first one. But what the system will do is it will jumble up the options. So this is just for you as the content creator to put in. So this is the correct answer, and for you to tell the system that this is the correct answer, but the system can actually jumble up the question. So for this example, I'll just put a third answer, and we will see what will happen to the different choice that you have. So this one, you can just do option 3. Okay. All right. So I will go back to question number 2 once we finish this, and so that you can actually see the influence. But to quickly answer the question, this one will always, it needs to be your answer, the correct answer, but the system will jumble up the arrangement, okay, for a single choice. But for a multiple choice, then it's slightly different. You can choose 2, and if 2 are the correct answer, then you need to tick 2. Okay, it's kind of like when we were doing our high school, where you have number 1 is this, number 2 is this, number 3 is this, and then the answer for A is 1 and 2, B is 2 and 3, something like that. Okay, but this is more on interactive, and I would say the most advantage of using H5P is it's very easy. You can actually go through and play around with it very easily, and you don't have to spend a lot of time. You just probably spend half an hour to learn all of these, and then once you want to create your own content again and again, it will be like very easy.
Okay.
Now once everything is done,
more question. So there are 2 more questions pertaining to creating assessments inside your video. Okay, the first one is more explanation about the pass percentage thing just now, because so does pass percentage prevent student from continuing? How does it do that? Okay, that's question number 1. And then there's another question from Dr. Johannes asking, what if you embedded a YouTube video but later it does not display due to copyright or you being not the owner of the video?
oh, okay.
So how does in H5P?
So it's actually a bit difficult to answer question number 2, because I never actually tried which has a copyright issue. But say for example, if that video was created by Dr. Zahir, okay, and Dr. Zahir shared it on YouTube, and then you actually use that video to create your own content. Sorry, I'm gonna answer question number 2 first. Okay, and then what will happen is you are actually there shouldn't be any issue with using the video, as long as YouTube does not take down the video. Okay, so as long as it's freely available, then you should be able to use it. But once YouTube took it down, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But my best guess is H5P will also take down the video, so you cannot use it anymore. Okay, and the first one was prevent student from continue. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is that say if there's 2 questions, and then the student got the first question correct but the second one wrong. So what the system will do is the system will ask the student to do it again, so that he or she will get both of them correct. So the question will be the same question. So basically, the student will get it correct the second time around. But the marks that will be recorded is from the first quiz, not the second one, unless if you actually allow the student to do it multiple times, where you can probably go and reset the marks and then ask the student to do it again. Then it's all up to you. But so far, this one is, it will just show the question again, so that the student can either go back from the beginning to listen to it, or just retake the question and then get a passing mark. Okay, so I hope that answers your questions. Okay, so if you want your student to not be able to move forward, so you need to click on this. Okay, require full score for task before proceeding. Okay, so this one will definitely stop the students. So this one and the one up here is actually related. Okay, so if you put it here 100%, then if you have, like, say 20 questions and then the student got it wrong, one of the question, then he or she needs to redo everything again. Okay, but if you don't have that, even if he or she got it wrong, it's still fine. If he or she wants to redo it, then he can redo it, but then the marks will be on the first trial and not. Okay, all right, so once you click done, just wait for the system to refresh. Okay, it's a bit slow. So this is one of the disadvantage of doing something online, where if your internet is interrupted, then you need to wait. So as long as you have a good connection and our SPeCTRUM has no issue, then it should be very quick. Because when I tried to create my own content last night, it was blazing fast. So there's no issue at all, and this never happens. Okay, there you go. Right. So all right, and if you want, you can make it very big so that it will close the video altogether, so the student will only focus on the questions. Okay, and I think that's it. Just gonna continue, and so that we can actually see what happens. Okay, so set of statements or summary. This is display above the summary task. I'll just say correct. So this one is kind of like a summary at the end of the video. So once the student view everything, he or she will get at least this. Okay, a summary for the task, and he or she needs to get it correct, or even if it's not correct, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, and this one is wrong. And then tips, if you want to add tips, review the video if you are still lost. Okay, you can add more statement if you want. So adding more statement is kind of like adding more quiz once the video completed. Okay, so it says here display at number of seconds before the video ends. So you can adjust it accordingly if you want. You can make it even earlier, or you can just make it 0, so that once the video ends, or probably 1 second before the video ends, then you will see this summary statement where the student needs to click to get the answers. All right, so I think that's it pretty much. You can adjust all the other settings if you want, or you can just leave it as default. So it's pretty much, it's very easy. It actually tells you everything one by one. But once, say, you completed your interactive video editor, you can just quickly scroll down at the bottom and either save and display or save and return to court. We'll try and save and display and see if you can actually see the questions. If not, I'll just open what I did yesterday and show it to you guys. Okay, so you can see there's those bookmarks, and you can see that's one dot over there, which is the question that I've prepared. You can just go and play. You can see the text module came out correctly, and it should go away soon. See, okay, now it went away based on the time that you actually set. We'll just wait until it reaches here. The video should pause, and then the question will pop up. And this over here, the final dot, is the summary statement that you saw during the editing mode. Right, it's reaching here, quiz number 1. Right, see it stops. Okay, so if you got it wrong, that will say it's wrong. All right, so I'm not sure why it highlights this one the first time around. There might be some issues, or probably because I'm the content editor, so that's why it's showing me green in the first place. But it shouldn't. Okay, so it should be gray color because Dr. Zahir actually introduced this system to me when I was doing my Emerald teaching and learning, and it's actually initially it was gray. Once you choose your correct answer or the wrong answer, it will display either a red color or green color. Say, for example, if you just want to continue to the second question, you can click on that next button, and then which country is this video taken from? You can say it's Singapore. So you can see we actually put in Malaysia as the first one, but now Singapore was at the top. Okay, so that's what I meant by it actually scrambles your answers. So you don't have to worry about whether the first answer will always be at the top. So the system actually do it for you. So now you can see Malaysia is at the bottom and Singapore is at the top. All right, so that should answer the second question. So and finally you can click on show solution. So it can tell you, so the student can learn while they are watching the video. Okay, and go back. They can retry to get 100% passing mark. So say for example, if you put in 100% passing mark before continue, they don't have this. So this won't be available until they retry and then get 100%. Then you can see a continue button here where you can actually click and it will disappear and the video will continue. Okay, and we'll just move forward towards the end where you can actually see the summary. Okay, this is too quick. Okay, so basically the summary is there. If you click on that, then it's kind of like a refresher when you look at a textbook. For example, after one chapter, there's always a set of questions where you can actually go and try whether you actually learn anything. So this is the summary. So it will not be part of the marks because it's kind of like not compulsory. But yeah, so I think that's about it. And just to show you what you can do is if you want to look at the grades, okay. So first off, I need to remember the name is edX H5P. So in this case, so you go back to your SPeCTRUM course homepage, click on the gear button, and then you can see here gradebook setup. Click on that and scroll through. This grades will depend on how many assessment you actually have on your SPeCTRUM. And you can see here, this is the ones that we just did. You can click on that. Unfortunately, because I'm the content creator, there's no mark being displayed. But as a student, there should be a mark here where you as a lecturer, you can actually see and take note. You can actually print, export, and have a mark stored somewhere else. I think, and one last bit. Is there any more question, Dr. Zahir? No.
Yes. Okay. So we have two more questions. Okay. It's about the video again. So when, for example, a student finishes the video one round, and then they from the settings you allow them to just go through without having to score 100% to continue. So when you try that, so if the students want to reattempt to watch the video and answering the question again, so will it restart the time limit from beginning, or will it just continue from whatever time that the video comes from?
So you can actually, it depends on your setting again. You can actually, the student can actually just scroll through any time point that he or she wants if you don't set a limit. What I mean by limit is, probably you can just go through to the question quickly. Okay, go and edit. Add interaction. Exit. This one. Okay, so the student can actually scroll through to see the quiz straight away if he or she wants to try and re-attempt the quiz. Okay, there's, as long as you don't put a restriction on they need to pass before they can continue, then they can just scroll anywhere. Okay, so I would say having a quiz in the middle and then ask them to at least answer it will be best, because you can integrate it as part of your continuous assessment. If you don't do that, then the student can just skim through very quickly from the video and then tell you as the teacher, yes, I've looked through all the videos and that's it. Okay, so having a quiz and asking the students to actually pass the quiz would be better in a sense of teaching the students. Okay, say for example, if you want to edit the question, you can just simply open back the video, go to add interaction, click on it, and then you can just straight away edit it and move back to what's it, the visual activity. Okay, wait, where was it? Poster video. What's the option? Okay, now I can't find the setup again. Or probably it's down here. Wait, no, it's not. Oh, here. Okay, so as long as you don't ask the student to get everything correct, then the video won't continue. But if you don't have that feature ticked, then the student can just quickly scroll through to the first quiz, attempt it, and then to the second quiz, attempt it, and then finally to the last one, attempt it without listening to your video. So that's one of the disadvantage of having a quiz embedded in your H5P video. But then again, if you just post a video, you can't really ask the student, or well, you can ask the student to watch the video, but you can't actually force the student to listen to every single second of the video. So this is a good attempt to actually put in a little bit of interaction so that the student won't get bored by just watching a video.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So the second question is more general nature. So the question is, what is the best time or length of the video to work with?
I guess it depends on your lecture. So normally we will have 50 minutes during our lecture time. In my case, I prepared a lecture that spanned about half an hour, because I want to add in about 5 different sets of questions throughout the video. Okay, so the student might take time to actually think about what is the correct answer, especially if you tell them that the quiz embedded in the video will be part of your continuous assessment mark. So they will probably need time to actually think about the answers. So I would say a good video, if you want to embed it in the SPeCTRUM and to put in the elements of continuous assessment with marks, then half an hour would be the optimum one. You can still do 1 hour if you want, but I would say optimum ones is half an hour.
Okay, thank you. There's no more question.
Okay, so I would say we'll just go back to the PowerPoint slide quickly. What happened to my PowerPoint? Closed. Okay, here. PowerPoint slide. Okay. So so this PowerPoint slide I will share with Dr. Zahir. So it's basically tells you what to do step by step. Okay, so but I've gone through with you guys just now to do it. Okay, but there are a lot of options that I didn't actually touch because there are so many things that you can play around and change accordingly. Okay, so some extra resources. So this YouTube video actually introduces H5P in Moodle. So Moodle is the platform, our SPeCTRUM platform, pretty much. So you can watch this video. So it tells you a little bit about how to introduce H5P, and you can go to this web address to use the online editing service. Say, for example, if you only have a mobile that some limitation that you cannot access SPeCTRUM, so you can always prepare your video from this website first, download it, and then upload it on SPeCTRUM before your lecture. Okay, and some extra reading if you want is to about gradebooks and explore other H5P contents, because what I've shown you just now is just interactive video. There are multiples, as you can see, for example, just a quiz and some of the stuff that you can see from this video up here. Okay, I think that's it. H5P and Moodle together, and thank you for listening, and thanks EDHEC for giving me the opportunity to actually share during our MCO session. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. So that is a very quick, but it's not that quick. It's about 45 minutes that we spent together. But you've shown us a very interesting module that we have in our SPeCTRUM. So of course, we would like to invite more people to play around and also use your H5P module inside SPeCTRUM to do assessments for students. And as we see the list just now, it's about 40 different types of activities that you can do with the students. So one was shown by Dr. Abdullah, but then you have another 39 that you can explore for yourself and to fit it where it fits with the students' learning. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So we will see you again in the next session with EDHEC. And I think one very interesting session that we're going to have tomorrow is the session with our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Prof. Kamila, and that session is going to be from 10:30 to 11:30, so that then you can share your concerns or also your ideas on how to teach online during the during our pandemic, and also to probably hear from the TNC Prof. Kamila firsthand on what the university is doing to support students and also lecturers in this time. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, and we will see you again in our next session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon.